Ladies and gentlemen, we are back at it again with another Wuthering Waves 3.5 specific video. And this is the thing. It's been a couple of days, maybe even 4 or 5 since our live stream. But the thing is that this live stream happened really goddamn early in the 3.4 patch. I think the live stream happened when we were still like 15 days away from the update. So yes, the news is coming really slowly. And this is one of the first things up, an Echo reveal, where we get to see what all these different echoes are going to be looking like, some of their abilities, and of course, the buffs that they're going to be providing. But the thing is that with some of the other information that Kuro revealed already in-game, as well as what we're seeing over here, we can paint a very clear picture for how people can get ready for the rest of 3.5. The rest of Xuanling, the land of Mengzhou, or sorry, Mengzhou, the land of Xuanling. Bro, I'm pretty sure they just switched these around. I'm pretty sure it was Xuanling, land of Mengzhou before, and then they just did like a vice versa quick swap over here. Doesn't really matter. They're basically the same fucking shit in my mind, and I'm gonna get them confused for basically for the next 6 months. It is what it is. You guys are probably gonna get them mixed up too. With that out of the way, we basically know the kits as well as the damage types of probably the next 4 upcoming units. And what we're going to be doing today is going through all of the different context clues that we've gotten both from this reveal over here, as well as, again, what's already in game. Because you want to get started pretty early, knowing how hard it can be to get the available echoes to roll, especially early on in an update. And I'll explain to you why in just a bit. So, first things first, right? We got to take a look at what we've actually gotten in-game. And this is something that I've covered before. And Kuro basically gave us like half of the pie over here by giving us a look at some of the new 4-cost echoes that are going to be in Mengzhou. You can see them over here, these big boys, the 1,000 Puppet Pavilion and the Myriad Snare Rustfire Chassis. That's going to be there. But then you also get to see the different echoes that they're going to be coming from, the different sonata sets, and of course, the effects of those sonata sets. And so, for the first 2 characters up, right, the new resonators and weapon, Yangyang and Suisui, it's very obvious what's going on over here. You shouldn't really have any confusion. It's just going to be the Song of Feather Trace. The bird one, right, with the feathers, works for the 2 burb girls. Wow, so crazy. Because the 2-piece effect is ER, and then it has 2 effects. If you inflict Havoc Bane, which the Havoc character Yangyang is 99% gonna do, gain crit rate and heavy attack. So now you know what her damage type is, as well as what her set is. And then upon inflicting Glacial Chafe, which is the only Glacial character is Suisui, and she's also feathery bird, yeah, what's going on, attack increase. So that's already settled. That's those 2 characters. It's pretty much like all set, ready to go, no real issues at all, right? But then we're also gonna have this. The 2 new sonata sets, the Heart of Evil's Purge, as well as the Lamp of the Nether Road. And the situation over here is very simple. One's red, fusion, and gives, and is HP scaling. The other is green, arrow, and it is about Toon Strain, crit damage, and arrow damage bonuses. And that set's going to be found over here. And you're going to notice that this main cost echo, the passive skill is higher fusion and heavy attack damage. So the person that uses this set is a heavy attack damage dealer, while the arrow set, well, we don't really see what's going on over here. But we might get a clue later on, because there are things called 3-cost echoes, and that might be what's showing up over here. So you can see we've gotten half of the pie. We still need some of the rest of the information. And if you just want confirmation on who wields these sets, Lamp of Nether Road, you can, well, you tell me who's got a lamp. Yeah, let me know who else got a lamp. And as we know from the sonata sets, the name of the sonata set is basically one-to-one to the user. And if the name of it is the lamp, this motherfucker using it, and he's the only guy that's like sort of green, so that kind of counts out arrow for him, right? Because yeah, that's a flaming lamp. She's like 99% arrow with like the wind swords and like the wind and all of that. Yeah, she's probably the user of the other set, and she does look like she's a purger of evil. Yeah, she kind of looks like a do-gooder, isn't she? So that's who the owners are over there. And what I wanted to do today was, with all of this knowledge that you have, and of course knowledge of the new echoes, go through what every player should be prepping for once 3.5 actually begins, if they're trying to get up and started building these units as fast, and most importantly, as efficiently as possible. Because there are some lessons from Lahai Roy that we can all keep in mind as we move forward in our farming journey. So first things first, this is going to be the page over here. And so they're just going to be listing out all the different echoes, some details about them, as well as their echo skill. I'm not going to be focusing too much about the details. I'll be focusing on the echo in particular and who it probably belongs to. So this one over here, obviously, resonators with this echo equipped in the main slot gain a healing bonus. And then it deals glacial damage. It's a summon echo. So probably this is going to be, right, Suisui's 3-cost echo, right? Because the 4-cost, well, you can kind of see what's going on over here. The 4-cost echo only really gives you a bonus when you're dealing Havoc Bane damage. So Suisui is going to equip this in the 4 slot somewhere, but it's not going to be your active slot. While this one, on the other hand, probably will be due to that healing bonus. Though I'm not sure if people are going to like the fact that this only gives a healing bonus and not maybe like ER or something like that. But maybe this means Suisui doesn't need that much ER. Maybe she's not a 250% ER character, much like a Shorekeeper or like a Mornier. You know how they want a lot of ER, and their 4-cost echoes typically give that. Hers doesn't look like it's giving it over here, or at least her main echo. This one over here is likely just a 1-cost that's going to fill out one of the sets. But this is the situation over here. This 1-cost is probably going to launch as a 2-piecer. It's probably going to be this piece as well as this piece. And this is the reality over here when it comes to echoes in this game. We used to have a very easy time farming 1-cost, 3-cost echoes in Lahai Roi. And the reasoning is very, very, very simple over here. Think about when Lahai Roi released and all we had was Pact of Neon Light Leap, Rite of Gilded Revelation, and Halo of Starry Radiance. When you were farming some of like things like the Discord Nest, when you were even farming in the Overworld, this could like only drop from like 2 sets, right? But now this little insect, right? Bro, this little insect over here, bro, it drops on like 5 more sets. This one as well. This one got woven in too. So now echoes that only dropped from that only dropped 1 or 2 sets are now dropping like 4 or 5. And do you all remember what these Discord nests used to look like? Bro, get ready for this. Bro, you remember this shit when these tacit Discord nests were lit? Bro, they only used to have 3 sets. It used to only look like this. This is what it looked like when you opened up the UI menu, and the nest could only drop these 3 sets. Now they drop 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. They drop 8 sets. They went from 3 to 8. They used to only drop these 3. Now they drop 8 possible sets. The end result is you go into these with a prayer. You don't go into this expecting a single echo of anything. You just go in and you're actually just playing the lotto. Straight up, you're just playing the fucking lottery to see whether or not you get a piece that's actually usable. And it's kind of just miserable at this point. I don't even recommend people do this anymore because you're just going to be random. It's just random. It's literally random. Before, it was intentional. Now they're kind of pointless. And that's how echoes evolved in Lahai Roi, the farming of them, to the point where the only real way to acquire them is like from tacit fields, because you can at least isolate that you get just 2 specific sets, right, from the tacit field. Everywhere else, bro, you're farming on like a 1 to 4 chance. Because think about it this way. This 1-cost over here, right, if it only has 2 sets, when the echo drops, you got a 50% chance of getting the right set. Then you got a 1/3 chance of getting the right substat. So at a baseline, you got a 1 out of 6 chance when killing a 1-cost in the Overworld to get the right piece for your character. Assume, right, for the Fusion one, an HP 1-cost, and for the Arrow one, an Attack 1-cost, right? You have a 1/3 chance on a random kill. Sorry. Yeah, a 1/3 chance on a random kill, or a 1/6 chance on a random kill. When there are 3 possible sets, you know, let's just say this drops up to 3 sets, now it's a 1 out of 9 chance. And if the 1-cost drops 4 sets, then that's a 1 out of 12 chance. That's not very good, is it? And I'm not even sure if there are echo sets in the game that drop up to like 4 fucking sets. That'd be funny. Yeah, this insect is showing up over here. Then it shows up over here. 1, 2, 3, 4. This motherfucker does show up on 4 sets. This is Mr. Worldwide. This is Mr. Worldwide over here. You try to farm this motherfucker in the Overworld, he gonna drop out to 4 possible sets. So you got a 1 out of 12 chance of getting the right piece on the off chance that it drops. Bro got a 1 out of 8 chance of dropping, then a 1 out of 12 chance of getting the right piece. So that's like what? A 1 out of fucking... Bro, is that a 1 out of 96 on a random kill to get the right piece? There you go. It's a 1 out of 96 chance. Bro, you're actually approaching 1% levels when farming this mob in the Overworld. On every kill, a 1% chance of getting the right echo. 1 out of 96. And that's what happens when you have a fucking 1-cost that drops 4 separate sets. That's a bit of a disaster, isn't it? So my advice over here to you is this. Farm fast and farm early. Tick the outline at the top right to see the sets. Wait, where do I do that? Wait, let me see. You can use the Sonata set gallery in the databank. Okay. Maybe it's here. It might be here. But like the issue is that this is like a pain in the ass to look up. Okay, let's see. We gotta get a Flora drone. Yeah, oh, there you go. You click details under here, and then great. This motherfucker drops up to 4. This dude's got 4. This motherfucker's got 3. Do you see how easy it is to farm some of the other sets in the game? Like bro, bro, what is going on? Like, this dude drops 3. It's easier to farm the older 1 cost than it is to farm the newer ones. Bro, this motherfucker drops 2. Bro, this is luxury right here. And then in Lahai Roy, we get this. Bro, that's 1.0 to 3.0. 1.0 to 3.0. You doubled the amount of possible sets. You went from a 1 out of 48 chance to a 1 out of 96. That's not good. So again, my advice is, if you're trying to farm echoes for these characters, the easiest time to farm is now. Like, literally, when the patch drops, if you're going to be doing overworld farming, get it done now and don't wait until more characters release. Because there is effectively no point in overworld farming right now. Bro, are you just... Bro, I can't... Bro, literally, I think a prison sentence, right? Where their goal is to, like, farm 100 active neon light leap Flora drones. And your prison sentence will be over. You have to farm 100 attack 1 cost Flora drones on this set. And then your prison sentence is going to be... Bro, those people, they're not going to make it out. That's a life sentence right there. How long would that take? How long would it take to get 100 of those naturally, organically? I don't even want to dream about it. Dude, they're going to be in jail forever. And a lot of people, right? They're saying shit like, oh, targeted merge. Guys, that gives you 10 a week. Guys, that gives you 10 a week. And targeted merges are only useful right now when there's a fuck ton of possible options. It's really hard to get the 1 cost. So don't even worry about targeted merges. They're not even that strong right now, but they're going to get broken and overpowered. Like this technique over here, it's going to get overpowered once we're in like version 3.8. And this motherfucker, when he drops from a set, is going to have like 7 different Sonata sets. Like, bro, it's going to be cooked. But this is also an opportunity. Maybe Kuro Games is going to take their foot off the gas pedal, because I don't even know why they're doing this. It's quite possibly like one of the most cancerous implementations of farming I've ever seen. And like, maybe they're telling players, don't overworld farm. Stop doing this shit. Like, it's a really bad idea. And this is their way of telling them, bro, go touch grass. By making the overworld farming so bad that you don't even want to do it. Which is, honestly, it's kind of effective. I've stopped. I don't even want to try it anymore. So that's my personal take. So that was going to be over here. I think it's going to be on the Fusion and Arrow sets. Probably also on the Fusion and Arrow set. You're going to get like a head. We're just going to be quickly going through all the rest of the ones over here to see if there are any big ones to highlight. This one's also just going to deal fusion damage. You can see over here, it's all like the different parts of like the body. So, yeah, I guess this guy's going to turn into like 4 different echoes when he dies. This part is a little bit interesting. Right here, you have the Kernel puppets. And so these Kernel puppets over here are essentially the creations of the Sentinel, Sin, the Moon Fox. And this is the one description that I'll read because it's the same for all of them. You can see like the little robot dudes over here. As the Kernel puppet is the most widely produced and versatile auto puppet across Xuanling, it is said that Sin, the Moon Fox, was directly involved in its development. And remember, Lord Arbiter, woohoo, Electro, yeah. So yeah, she probably electrically powering these motherfuckers. As a result, the Kernel puppets are heavily influenced by Sin's abundant emotions. She's a very emotional thing, giving rise to 6 separate forms of auto puppets. And then these guys can go beat some TD ass, I guess. Yeah, so this is how this is like the military force, like actually Metabots just going around fucking shit up. And like, this guy's got a, I'm not gonna lie, his weapon's kind of badass. Why does that sword look kind of cool? Why can't we get a sword like that for a playable character? Anyways, this guy's gonna do physical damage. I got no idea of like what set he's supposed to be from. Maybe he's like on the ER set, just because he seems like the ER set is white and he's like kind of colorless. This guy's obviously the fusion one. So you got the angry guy over here. Now you got the gay one. No, sorry, this one's worried, and it's like kind of like agile. It's got like a sword and stuff. So that one's there. That one deals glacial damage, so it might be on the white set as well, just to kind of like be there for Suisui. And then you got reflection. Oh, and this guy's got a, yeah, this guy's like Yeah, he's about to smash some shit. That's Electro. So you can kind of see all the emotions over here are getting represented by a color. And guess what, guys? What do the attributes in Wuthering Waves stand for? Well, the attributes kind of like stand for emotions, right? So happiness is if you don't have resonator abilities. Oh, that's a bit of a meta play, isn't it? Yeah, because this guy's just physical. He's got no powers, so he's happy. Angry is fusion, so all fusion people are mad, like Mortifi, right? All Glacial characters are gay, or sorry, they worry too much. It's sort of like Jeja. So, like, that's kind of like Hiyuki, bro. They're just, like, they're worried about so much shit. And then, like, Carlotta's scared about being the head of the family, right? Bro, they just worry so much. It kind of makes sense. That's why there's only been, like, 3 of them. Like, Hiyuki's worried about, like, her fucking 17 futures and, like, oh, Ashinohara, oh, gosh, right? Jeja's, like, just worried about, yeah, you get what's going on. Reflection. Electro characters do seem to be very, yeah, no, Electro characters kind of seem to be, like, smart. Yeah, now that I think about it, right? Then you got Grief. And Spectro is Grief. Luke Herson, Zani, Phoebe, Jinsei. Yeah, they're all like pretty sad. Yeah. Phoebe's order tried to turn her into ISIS back in the day. You guys remember 2.1? Yeah, they tried to turn her into a bomber. That's kind of depressing. Now that, yeah, honestly, that's pretty depressing once you think about it. So, yeah, Zani's existence too is pretty bad. That makes sense. And now you got Fright. Havoc, scary. Woo! And I don't know why, but that just looks like a butt plug. So, bro, what is that supposed to be? Like, what the fuck is that? It's like, bro, those look like A beads. What the fuck? That's a butt plug sword. Yeah, no, that is frightening. Bro, this is a terrifying looking weapon. Bro, imagine that, like, someone's trying to kill you and they pull this out. This is scarier than, like, a sword. Bro, this is scarier than, like, a hammer. This is scarier than, like, an axe. Bro, an actual, like, a murderer is coming at you with this thing. That's scarier than a regular weapon, right? That's my personal take. So, yeah, that's Havoc. Makes sense, right? So you can kind of see over here, we're getting some additional insight into the attributes, which is pretty cool, right? Because the emotions are kind of getting instilled into a damage type with this one. Now, we got to keep moving on. We got the Porcelain Picket, and this guy's kind of like dual wielding. It's a dual wielding vase. This is crazy. I don't even know what they're doing over here. This reminds me of like some Elden Ring shit. It's like if the pots were like fighting. Like, bro, I feel like this guy's gonna have an attack move where he like spins around like a fucking hurricane and then like fucks you up. Like, I could totally see that. So yeah, this guy does arrow damage, which kind of makes sense, I guess, because his daggers are green. Then you got the Orient Picket. And these guys just seem to be like a little bit more alive. This one heals yourself, then deals arrow damage. The main thing that we're kind of seeing over here is that I don't see one echo. And this is what's kind of throwing me off. I don't see one echo. The active echo, right? The active echo that supports arrow damage. That's kind of what we're looking for at the moment, right? Because we've kind of got every main piece sorted out for all of the different echo sets and all the different characters, right? We've been taking a look at it over here. This is going to be Yangyang's. This is going to be Jingran's. And the one at the very start, right? The one that we looked at over here with like the glacial healing bonus, that one is Suisui's. But where is Qingxiao's? Because I haven't seen it yet. All I've seen are Sin's like fucking emotional little puppets over here. And then like this motherfucker. He is pretty badass, though. All right. So, we're just going to keep looking over here. Now we got the Stone Picket. That just deals arrow damage. And then we got, like... Dude, this is the... Why did they even design the dude? Like, bro, he just looks like he's got, like, a Morningstar penis. Bro, like, dude, they were crazy when they were designing... They were crazy when they were designing the pieces. Or they were crazy when they were designing the echoes for this region, bro. You got, like, the fucking... You got the butt plug sword, and then you got the Morningstar... See, if it was only one of them, I'd get it. But you got butt plug sword and then this. Your mind is cooked? No, motherfucker. What the fuck? Bro, if you made a silhouette of this, imagine if you just, like, got the guy's silhouette and, like, all they saw was, like, this. Bro, what would people say? Bro, if you took the silhouette of this and it's like, who's that Pokemon? What would it look like? Bro. Bro, this guy's gonna do spectro damage. Remember, the definition of spectro is grief. Why do you think he's experiencing grief? Now we got a chain smoker. This guy's gonna be fire. Kind of makes sense. But look at what we've gotten over here, guys. We don't have the Arrow Toon Strain booster. They're not here. And this is kind of like the conclusion that you guys might be able to come to, right? This set might just be put in early, or there are more echoes coming, or it's coming in 3.6, right? Maybe it's the weekly boss, though. And it actually is a forecast, because this clearly looks like, right, one of the regular looking forecasts out there. I don't think this is the weekly boss, right? So this is the possibility of what's releasing in the future. You could have both of these characters coming out, and depending on the weekly boss, there is potential, right, for this to be covered in that weekly boss's forecast, right? And the idea over here is maybe, oh, you don't actually like use this thing, right? If you're Qingxiao, it could be like Furlova's set being on Fenrico. Nobody uses the Fenrico forecast on Furlova. It's just like there for some fucking reason. So this could be what they're doing too. That's a possibility as well. But this is, I think, kind of like the one clue that we do have when it comes to Qingxiao's actual kit, and it's this. We've got a standard, no, not this piece of shit. No, that thing's just useless. We've got a standard broad blade over here that was added in version 3.0. And the effect of it is this. Dealing damage to targets under Toon Strain Interfered grants a 24% liberation damage bonus for 3 seconds. What's Qingxiao's set looking like? Toon Strain. And so Qingxiao also does look like a potential broad blade user. She'd be retarded. She look retarded using this, but I think these weapons are designed to look a little stupid. So she looks like she could be a broad blade user. And if she is, this is the only standard weapon that will actually work with her, because she's Toon Strain, right? You can see it from the Sonata set, and this is a Toon Strain weapon. But this is the thing, right? You also saw that the damage type was Resonance Liberation. And we also have one character right now that's rerunning. By the way, she's rerunning in 3.5. I do believe the first half. She buffs Liberation damage and also has a Toon Strain mode. So as we know about Lene, her Toon Strain mode is currently not that good. There's only one Toon Strain DPS, Luke Herson, and Denya's better for him. Because Denya just buffs all Toon Strain damage. She only buffs Liberation and 15% all damage. But if Qingxiao, right, is a Liberation Toon Strain DPS, Lene is her best in slot. And so Lene being on a rerun banner next patch does make Qingxiao in 3.6 a very sort of like intelligent idea, right? Because people pick up Lene for their Imith, but then Lene also happens to be a potential best in slot for the user of this set. Do you kind of like see what's going on over here? This is why I'm saying Qingxiao's release makes a lot of sense to me in 3.6 alongside Jingran, simply due to the fact, right, that if you pull Lene, you're really, who's also one of the best characters in the game, by the way, everyone is recommended to pull Lene because of how good she is as a general purpose character. You can pull her, and then you're really going to want to pull Qingxiao after this, right? If you see that Qingxiao is the best in slot for Lene's Toon Strain form, you're really going to want to pull her, right? And, well, you're getting the kind of like preview of that right now, because I am pretty much certain of this. Jingran is a fusion heavy attack damage dealer. I am like 99% sure, and guys, there's no leaks about this. It's all entirely, like, the next version, like 3.5 hasn't even launched yet. We can't get the 3.6 ones, right? I'm pretty sure she's a Liberation damage dealer. That also scales with Toon Strain, and is Lene's best in slot in her other form. Because that one's kind of just useless. It doesn't, like, kind of, like, do anything. It's not really, like, there. Jingran, though, looks like he's going to be covered. Now, let's get into some of, like, I've already been talking about it a little bit with Lene, but we might as well talk about some of the really special stuff going on with Jingran over here. Because we've kind of been keeping him on the back burner simply due to the fact we kind of know everything about what he's going to do. He's an HP scaler, so that's already like a huge sort of like, oh shit, maybe that's not that good. Second, he's going to have stackable crit rate increases from spamming shields. This is a mechanic that you're all probably familiar with before. If you have Augusta and Yuno, you should probably think about picking him up too, because he'll just give you another damage type, right, that your Yuno's going to be able to work with. Because he basically just says he constantly refreshes a shield, which is literally the effect of, well, Augusta and Yuno. And as you're all probably aware, Yuno has one of the strongest buffs in the game for somebody that's able to refresh their shield. Yes, it's called the... Where the fuck is it? It's called the Blessing of Wan Light. 4% all damage amp for 10 seconds. Stacking. Gaining new stacks resets the duration. And how do you get a stack of this? Generating a shield on yourself on a very short cooldown. So if Jingran's able to leverage this, bro has 50% heavy attack damage amp from Yuno. And then 40% more for the Blessing of Wan Light. And Yuno has no attack buffs. All she has is raw amp. Literally nothing except amp. Nothing else. So she is effectively a, like, already a best in slot for the guy. Like, there's no question about it. And so if you have Yuno, he's probably also going to be extremely strong. But the third slot with the support is not going to be as easy of a question or as easy of a decision as... Actually, no, the third slot support is actually... No, the third slot support is going to be a really difficult question to answer. If he does heavy attack damage... Yes, he's going to deal heavy attack damage. It's not an if, it's a yes, he is going to. Because if he doesn't use this, then the devs are retarded. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just going to put my foot down and say he is going to be a heavy attacker because it says it right here. The set's there, and then it says lamp, and that's the forecast, and it says fusion and heavy attack. So this makes the third slot on the team. Assume it's Jingran, HP scaler, Yuno, no attack buffs. Who's going to be the third slot? Because Shorekeeper doesn't feel that great because she buffs attack like crazy. And there's no real buffer in the game that, like, gives HP or just gives, like, raw damage without necessarily buffing attack, except for, and this is funny, right? Arrow Rover's kind of the only one that does that. Where they don't buff attack and all they do is they buff... like damage amp and stuff. Unfortunately, guys, this motherfucker, his arrow form only gives arrow damage amp. So you're looking basically for like fusion damage, fusion healing, something like that that buffs and heals at the same time. And I'm gonna be honest, boys, I'm just gonna be entirely real with you. Like, if you're looking for heavy attack as well, like, you might actually consider, like, Brant might be his best support. Like, I mean this in the most, like, actual, like, Brant might be his best one because Brant at least won't have wasted buffs. And, like, you'll get a shield and stuff, and, like, bro, like, because what, like, if you assume he releases in 3.6, I don't think Suisui is going to be the support for that team because it doesn't look like it has negative statuses. Yo, this might be an intentional for the Love and D Space players. Fuck over Jingran's support options so people feel like they should, like, use Brant or something. Because who else are you going to use, bro? Fusion? Bro, he's the only... Bro, the only other fusion healer in the game is, like, Mornier. And if you're going, like, Mornier, Yuno, and, like, Jingran, bro, I feel like that team's gonna be some shit. I feel like that team is gonna be literal trash. Actual garbage. However, there is also another crazy thing when it comes to Jingran that I haven't talked about yet. And this is really, really, really exciting. While Qingxiao is only going to have, like, one team, I think it's going to be, like, Mornier, Lene, and then her. And that's pretty much it. You're going to be good to go from there. Maybe you got some variations, but you're going to want to stick with this. You can put in, like, Denya or something instead of Lene, but Lene is going to be better. You get what I'm talking about, right? It's going to be, like, the opposite of Luke. For this guy, he's going to have way more exciting teams. And the reason for this is very simple. He's already got a sort of like, not necessarily Giga free to play, but think about it this way. If you have Lupa, he has a sustainless, he has like a sustainless team already. From the perspective of, you put in Lupa, right? And then you put in good old Mortefi, who buffs fusion damage, right? And while Mortefi does give an attack bonus, bro, he's a free to play 4-star character, right? You put in Mortefi with his fusion, with his heavy attack damage amp. You got Lupa in here, right? With her insane fusion resistance, penetration, and all of that. And then her just raw fusion damage buffs. Because she doesn't give it, she does give a slight attack increase, but she gives a lot of fusion damage as well. You can kind of see what's going on over here, right? So you got like a Lupa, Mortefi, Jingran team. That's something that you can do too. But then you also got probably, right, the Yuno team as well. So him being fusion heavy attack gives him some of the most teams in the game. He got every single heavy attacker. He got every single fusion buffer. But the unfortunate thing is his supports still don't look very good. So there could always just be potential, right? Maybe there's a, like, HP-focused support in the future who's, like, more for cart or something. I don't know how the fuck that's gonna work, though, right? I really don't know how that's gonna work. But yeah, if you're not gonna be using more... if you're not gonna be doing mono fusion, Yuno is definitely gonna be your best in slot, because she just gives amp, no wasted attack bonuses. However, this is the last thing, though, that Kuro might do that I feel like is probably the best idea. He shouldn't have 0% attack scaling. Let me tell you what I'm talking about. Cart is a character that has 0% attack scaling. And this is what I mean by 0%. Literally no attack scaling. Like, if you get an attack roll, it literally does nothing for her damage. It's literally wasted. And this is kind of like the bad thing. Or, okay, no, she actually does have... Wait, does she? Wait, no, I guess she does have some attack ratios. They're just non-existent. Wait, is this 2.5% of her HP, or is it her attack? Or is this all HP? I got no idea. As far as I'm concerned, I think it's all just HP. Yeah, I think it's all HP. There's literally no attack scaling. Sorry, I got confused for a little bit. I feel like every character that's an HP scaler should have like 90 to 10 scaling. In that, attack, in this case, literally does nothing for her. HP on an attack scaling character at least will let you, like, tank maybe a little bit more, right? Attack on cart actually does nothing. So, when the flip side is HP on other characters will at least have some tangential benefit, defense too, right? Attack on somebody with 0% scaling literally is completely wasted, does nothing at all. While defense and HP do something on other characters. At this point, I would just say throw a fucking 10% on there, bro. Just keep the values the same and just throw like a 10% attack ratio on there. Or like a fucking 1%, bro. Just like something so that, like, if you do have an attack roll, it's not the most worthless shit on the fucking planet. And if you have an attack buffer on your team, it's not the most worthless, useless thing on the planet. Because that's like kind of how it is right now. Like, bro, it's like their kit actually doesn't do anything. So yeah. Hopefully, there's like something built in so that like HP scaling in this game doesn't feel good. I think that's one of the issues. HP scalers in this game, based off of cart and like the experience building her weapon, all of that, it's not fun. I don't think people really like it. It doesn't feel particularly good. And I'm glad that they haven't released one since cart. However, it's been like a year since cart and they're trying again. And so they've got to figure out how to, like, get this going. But HP scalers in pretty much every game have sucked. The only decent one seems to be, like, Farina and New Valette. But, like, they're also, like, bad now. So, like, maybe they do suck still. So, you get what I'm... Like, Blades suck. Everybody sucks when they're an HP scaler. Cart is also kind of bad now. So, we're in a bit of a situation, aren't we? But that's what we're looking like going forward into version 3.5 and beyond. I'm pretty sure we've gotten the rundown of virtually all 4 of these characters. And I'm personally of the take that I don't see a universe where we have to wait much longer than 3.6 for these characters. That doesn't really make a lot of sense to me. Because we're definitely in a space where it doesn't feel like... I look at this, it doesn't feel like we need a sub DPS up in here. Yeah, that's my personal take. It doesn't feel like I'm missing a sub DPS over here. Maybe the only one missing is like a Havoc main sub DPS. Because this looks like it's supported by Lene. This one looks like it's adequately covered by Yuno. So, as far as I'm concerned, these 2 characters look like they're ready to go and just drop into the fucking game. Right? So yeah. That's what we got coming up. And like I said before, if you plan on farming for these guys... Knowing the lessons from Lahai Roy, knowing the lessons from those tacit Discord nests, knowing how much worse it's gotten compared to 3.0, get started now, get started early, and like in this situation, the early bird literally does get the worm, because the earlier you start, you increase your chances of getting the right echo by literally 100%. Because 3.0 was 100% more efficient than it is now. Because that was 2 sets back then. Now we got 4 now. It's literally 50% worse. So yeah. Let me know what you all thought about this breakdown. Whether or not it was helpful. And, you know, maybe a little bit about who you're going to be pre-farming for once this update drops. Peace out.